And aloha! Welcome to the BlueNote Fan Report. I'm Guy, the Hawaii Blues fan, and I'm your host on the only program that is by a fan, for the fan, and absolutely about you, the fan.
So are you Guy or Dee?
And aloha! Welcome to the BlueNote Fan Report. I'm Guy, the Hawaii Blues fan, and I'm your host on the only program that is by a fan, for the fan, and absolutely about you, the fan.
So are you Guy or Dee?
Ed Danowski.
You're not in Hawaii?
I wish.
To Mr. Gary Younger.
Hi, Dee.
Hey, sir, how are you?
And Brock, how are you doing?
Doing great, sir. Doing great. Honored to have you on the show.
You know, I had the privilege while I was in the forces, in the Canadian Armed Forces, to take the Stanley Cup to Afghanistan. Only hockey fans would deploy to Afghanistan where it's 105 to 135 degrees every day, and they'd take their hockey sweaters and play ball hockey. This is the year for the Leafs. The Leafs are going to win it all this year. One of the players down the line said, "You got to be kidding. The Taliban got a better chance of winning the cup."
And aloha! Wow, man, I'll tell you what, I just learned an expensive and important lesson. If you're going to tear down your studio, make sure you get it set up and test it well in advance. Oh boy, this did not go good today. Hello, how are you all? Let's bring in the man, the myth, and the legend, because today's a special day. Hey, Brock, you know what today is?
It is Saturday.
No.
Could it be an anniversary?
Yes, it could. It could be, and it could be this. We went Blues! Yes, it is. 2 years ago today in Boston, Alex Pietrangelo stole a puck from Brad Marchand because he was too worried about getting off the ice because he was tired, and he skated down the center and popped one in behind Tuukka Rask. That was all they wrote. Made it 2-0. Final score would be 4-1.
Mm-hmm.
To me, the goal that sealed it was the Braden Shen goal. Tarasenko goes down the left-hand side, has two Bruins with him. He looks over his right shoulder, sees Shen coming, stops, turns around, and puts a perfect pass on Shen's skate, on Shen's stick, and Shen buries it. That makes it 3-0. At that point, you just know. You know, it's in the third period. I think that was in the third. It was, you know, you're at the 4-minute mark of the third, 5 minutes to go. There wasn't a lot of time left when that happened, and you just knew that was the goal, man. That was the absolute, end all be all, the one that made everything count. That was that goal. For me, there's nothing that was. Oh man, I still, if you go look in the Blue Note, the live section, you can find my Game 7 reaction show, and right up at the 30-minute mark is when I just start. I mean, I'm balling, man. I'm balling. I'm popping champagne. I don't believe it. And then somewhere in the Hawaii Blues Fan Clan, there's a video of me and Jeremy, Mississippi JP, drinking 360 vodka. Yeah, we were enjoying that day, my friend.
I saw that picture today. I saw you had that picture out there today.
Yeah. Well, so what's your memory? What's your memory of that day?
Well, you know what? Again, for me, it was a little anticlimactic. I watched the games at home. I didn't go down to the stadium. For me, it was just I wanted to be there with my family. And to be honest with you, it was a really gut-wrenching series. And I didn't know emotionally if I was going to be ready for that, because I didn't want to be like out in public and the Blues lose the 7th game of the Stanley Cup, because I'll tell you, when I was a teenager, the Cardinals were playing the Kansas City Royals one night, and me and my buddies were on our way down Highway 70 to be part of the celebration when Dane Orge broke our hearts. And from that on, I've never celebrated until it's pucks in hand till the clock strikes 0.
Yeah, So for me, see that series, everyone talks about Game 6, but Game 7, when I put it this way, Dinkinger being behind the plate that night was the worst freaking thing that could have ever happened. Right? He was calling. You could tell his Cardinal strike zone was minuscule, right? And that's why Joaquin Andahar was so pissed off. He was painting the corners, painting them that night.
Yep.
And everything was called the ball. Now, with the Cardinals, or with the Royals, he was calling everything a strike, right? He got, and this is what a lot of people didn't know.
John Tudor also went crazy the night before. John Tudor, remember, he punched the fan,
No, that was that night. Oh, it
was the same night. Okay.
Tudor punched the fan, and Andahar tore up, the locker room. That was that night. That was but see, I don't see how you put Dinkinger behind the plate that night.
Yeah.
Dinkinger, the hotel that he was staying at was also the same hotel the Cardinals were staying at. So I heard a rumor, and I don't know how solid this is, that somebody on the Cardinals paid the switchboard to make sure that all the calls went to Dinkinger, and was telling everybody where they were staying at, and he was getting death threats and all that. Don Robinson. Oh, this is a new one. I don't think I've seen Don on here before. Have you seen Don before?
No.
Oh, hey, Don, welcome to the BlueNote Fan Report. Great to have you along with this. I'll be honest, when they lost Game 6, I was not happy. I was losing faith. Bennington played amazing Game 7. Don, great point. But actually, you know what? Game 6 to me was the way Game 6 was supposed to be. Right? I think a lot of people don't understand that whole series. Hey, Don, make sure you subscribe and check out stlfanreport.com. Sure. That's our main page. I just wanted to say that.
Go ahead. Because everybody talks about that Game 7, and obviously that was the one that clinched it. But I'll tell you what, a key game in that series. My brother and I watched it. We were on a fishing trip when he had a DVR, and we were able to watch it. It was Game 3. Now, that's the Gunnarsson game, when Gunnarsson scored the goal in overtime.
No, that was Game 2. Game 2.
Sorry, it was Game 2. Anyway, it was a huge momentum shift. You know what I'm saying? They were in overtime, Gunnarsson. And, I thought that was such a key game. And so watch it back, because they came back from a deficit to win that game. And it was really exciting.
Oh, okay. Don says he subscribed here. That's how he knew we were live. Hey, well, thanks, Don. I think this is the first time I've seen you actually interact with us. So I appreciate that. That's great, man. And share with your friends. We appreciate that. Check out stlfanreport.com. And if you're on YouTube, check out the Hawaii STL Blues Fan Clan. That's our group, and that's where we try and get a lot of information out. No, for me, there's something that a lot of people forget in that series, right? There's more than one watershed moment in that series. First of all, you're right about Gunnarson's goal. That was a watershed moment, but it wasn't the biggest one in my eyes. The biggest one was game 4. Now, I was at game 3, and that was an ass whipping, end all ass whipping, right? That 7-3 loss where we just couldn't. And every time that somebody coughed, we got a penalty for interference. So, I mean, they called the game good, but we got penalties. We committed a lot of penalties, and every time we were in the box, they scored. You know, there was never a chance to gain any momentum in that game. But game four, where they had not really had any strong performances, because you look at game 1, I think they lost 5-3 or 5-2. Boston led most of the game. Game 2, tie game going in, last second win. Game 3, blowout. You had not had a point in this series that you said, yes, we can control this series.
I know. Yeah,
Game 4 was that moment, right? And then the next watershed moment for me is game 5 and the quote unquote trip. And I say that because I'm going to argue this till the day I die. Bortuzzo or Bozak played the puck. Bozak's stick hit the puck before it hit anything else. Bozak, as a defender, has the right to play the puck. He put his fan on the puck first, and then I forget who it was from Boston fell back over his stick. Now, this is where you want to talk about a bad coaching. This is where Boston's I forget his name, where I give him, because they stopped playing. They're waiting for a penalty. No whistle. They stopped playing, and wham, bam, we scored. I think it was wasn't Bozak who scored the goal. I think it was
Bouwmeester, or?
No, it might have been Bozak. I think Bozak might have gotten back around, or it was Steen. Bozak or Steen. It was somebody that in that level. But because of that, it was so powerful. And everyone points to the trip. Oh, it was a missed call. Go back and watch the play in slow motion.
Well, okay, all right. I have a really more of an overarching statement I want to make.
Okay.
Just about this whole thing.
Yeah.
Okay, and it's going to fire you up.
For it. I know what you're going to say. You're going to say I always blame the refs.
No.
Right.
It's just been 2 years, dude. It's just let's move on. I mean, I think it's great. I'm excited. It's a great anniversary, but I think in some ways it's kind of sad that we're so clutching to this thing that happened 2 years ago. Let's
great,
be critical.
Great effing point. Great effing point. Great effing point. Great effing point. Great effing point.
Me?
Yes. Because I'm getting roasted in the Blues Lounge over my original Berube article, and I'm working on a second one. I'm almost done with it. I don't think Berube's the right coach for this team. And a lot of people are going, oh, that's a fucking surprise.
See, me and you are just opposite sides on that.
But hold on. I hear so much. Oh, he won us the cup. Of course he gets to stay. Oh, he won us the cup. That counts for 3 years. Oh, you know what? No, it doesn't. And I said this, and I'm getting roasted for it too. Who are we saying? Oh, who are you saying happy birthday to, Brad? I'm not sure, buddy. I'm not sure whose birthday's today, to be honest with you. Unless it's his. Excuse me. Lost my place. They're saying that, he's the greatest coach we've ever had because he's brought us the cup. Right? No, he's not. He's not in the top 5 in my book. Right? I can name 5 coaches while they were with the Blues that I think have been better than Berube has been up to this point. Right? Right? You want me to name them?
Yeah, sure. What do you think?
Quinville.
Okay.
Bowman.
Okay.
Arbor. Hitchcock.
See, I'm not going to go on Hitchcock.
Sutter.
Who?
Brian Sutter.
So okay, yeah, all right, but I'm not Hitchcock. I'm not putting him in there. No.
Okay.
Damn near freaking ruined the franchise.
Hitchcock didn't ruin the franchise. Hitchcock.
Know,
no, if you want to talk
lot of
about
people
ruining the
did not like
franchise,
playing
that was
for him.
Keenan.
Well, he's
That
like
was
freaking-
Keenan.
He showed up and all of a sudden like freaking roaches, TJ Oshie, boom, like everybody just started like freaking.
Okay, you know, but you go back and you look at what those trades bought us, right? Some of those trades brought us Sundqvist.
Hey, TJ Oshie, he brought us Zach Sanford. That's your guy.
Yeah, well, okay, but there were others. There were those trades that were made. Did bring us eventually. I think it helped lead to the cup, right? I think there's some trades there, some pieces there that helped lead to the cup. Drafting. I'll be honest. The Blues have not been a great drafting team through their history, but you go back and look at that period, the dark period, 07 to 08, 09, right? Or not 07, 05, 08, 09, maybe even 10, right? When the Lowry zoned us and the selling off and all of that stuff. Right, the Shanahan, them coming in, the sports group coming in, and all of that before Stillman came in, and they did a really good job of drafting. Steen, Parashinko, Petrangelo, Perron. Right, you can just name. Okay, yep. He's got to step out for a second. You can just name so many guys that were part of it. Hitchcock wouldn't put Tarasenko on the ice in the deciding runs when he needed him the most. There were a couple times that he did that. There were a couple times he left him on the bench. I remember during the 16 playoff, there was a point where Tarasenko only got like 14 minutes in a game or something like that, and it was a big deal, and Hitchcock was like, I don't care. I do remember something like that. But for me, Berube's done a good job, but there's more negative than positive. And I think you have to go back and look at that some. You've got to look at some of these negatives when you look at Berube, and you can't say the cup covers all of that, right? You cannot say the cup covers all that. So that's where I'm coming from. Here's what I'm talking about with Berube. Me and Tom mentioned this. Since his extension, since he's been named head coach, got to remember, when he won the cup, he was not a head coach. Mm-hmm. He was the interim head coach.
Yep.
Since he's been named the head coach, he is 2-10-1 in the playoffs. And the official record is 2-11. Right?
Okay. We talked about that 2-10-1 or whatever, 2-11.
It's 2-10-1 official, but the official record counts that overtime loss as a loss, not as an OT, as a loss. It puts it straight as a loss. He is 2-10-1 in the playoffs.
Yeah.
This season,
not going to get it done.
This season, no, it's not going to get it done. And not only that, see, here's the other thing. You look at where we were on March 12th. On March 12th, when we went, see, he says Hitchcock wasn't good for us. I'm going to debate that, E. I'm absolutely going to debate that.
Okay.
I think Berube has made the players not give up regardless and believe more. I was with that until this season. I was okay with that until the bubble. That statement, Don, I was absolutely okay with until the bubble. And if you go back, and I've been doing research, okay? You go back to the 2019-20 season, you'll be amazed how many streaks there were. 4-game losing streak, 7-game winning streak, 8-game winning streak, 5-game losing streak, 4-game losing streak. Going into the bubble, the last 4 games, they alternated. Loss, win, loss, win. And the final win was the makeup in for the Bouwmeester game. That was the makeup game. That Bouwmeester game actually came in the middle of a 5-game losing streak. Yeah. Then they turn around and win 8 games again, right? And then lose, win. Mm-hmm. there were signs that the wheels were coming off. And those lose-wins, right? Where Colorado, we were just holding off Colorado and they had the game in hand.
Mhm.
I was concerned that that final game of the season was not going to be for the division. I actually was concerned that they were going to be ahead of us by then. I saw some concerning signs, and I remember that. And I went back and watched those 4 games. And if you watch them, you can, even the game they won 5-2 against Anaheim. There's points in that game where it just did not look right. And this is Anaheim, and Anaheim was not good.
Yep. Okay.
That season either.
Yep.
Okay. Then you go, and I had somebody make this argument to me. Oh, well, teams that are really high in the regular season don't do good because they spilt their load in the regular season and blow it in the playoffs. Okay, Mr. Genius. They had a 5-month layoff between the last game they played and the first game of the playoffs, the play-in round. 5-month layoff. Let me say that again. They had a 5-month layoff. There is nothing that should have stopped this team from going on an immaculate run. Nothing. Now, I will admit, they had 20% of the regulars, and this came out later, that had COVID. But we don't know how that affected them. We really don't, and we don't know exactly which players it was. We did have the injury to Steen that happened, right, with his back, and Tarasenko's shoulder re-injured itself during that period. But that team, you want to talk about a watershed moment? I'll talk about point one. Point one, that's a watershed moment.
I remember. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Condre scoring that power play goal with .1 on the clock.
Yep.
That was huge. That set the tone for the rest of the bubble. And then you go lose 7-4 to the Knights 2 days later. And then you have an overtime loss that put you in 4th place against an up-and-coming Vancouver Canucks.
Mm-hmm.
The Canucks came into that with nothing to lose. They played that series like they had absolutely nothing to lose, right? Absolutely nothing to lose, and that was kind of huge for me that they played it that way, and the Blues didn't. They were tight. They were never really together. They lost the first game in overtime, and you could see that just taking everything away from them.
You know what? For me, and again, this is going to be another outrageous statement. It's probably going to make people upset, but I think that after
You think I am?
No, not something I'm going to get ready to say. I'm going to say is that I think after the Cup that the pandemic the Blues were able to hide behind it and say, oh, well, we have the pandemic and they could not be as competitive and they could just get through it and stuff.
Oh, no.
Meanwhile, Tampa Bay is loading up and they put out a good team. And meanwhile, Dallas will put out a good team. So it doesn't really wash with me that, the pandemic, because other teams made it work.
Yeah, abso-freaking-lutely, okay?
So
made it work. We have used the same excuse for the last 2 seasons.
Yeah.
The pandemic and injuries.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? I'm sorry. The pandemic is now an excuse, right? But to me, the pandemic is nothing more than an excuse. Now, you can, and I will say this. If you want to know if I think the NHL was wrong for not postponing the Blues series, yes, they were. Mm-hmm. Now, everyone says, well, you can't postpone the playoffs. Well, in this case, you could. And the reason you could is because the North didn't start their playoff until our game 3.
Yeah, which is crazy. I mean, it's stupid.
So with that being said, we could have postponed ours to that point. And if we'd have done that, we'd have had 2 guys back by game 2, right? We'd have had a better contingent from game 2. And oh, hey, Ashley, welcome. Doing it on YouTube. I'll tell you what, there's something that a lot of people don't know. On YouTube, it doesn't tell you specifically that I'm going live but it gives you it either sends you an email telling you I'm going live, or it gives you a YouTube notification, and you have to click on that notification. And you have to have them turned on so you show on your phone. I'm still working. We're going to talk about towards the end. We're going to talk about that. We have something else to talk about here in a little bit. But I want to keep with this because I think this is a good topic that we're on right now. But one of the things we're going to talk about here in a little bit later is we're going to talk about how I think the Blues should have switched to a speed team, and other people think that there's no way we could have, that we weren't fast enough. I think there's a misconception of what a speed team is.
Okay.
Right. And I think that when you hear what I think of a speed team, right, there's a difference between having speed and being fast.
Okay.
Right. Colorado is a fast team. They're not a speed team. They're a fast team. There's a difference between having speed, fast. Right. In NASCAR, they have a great saying when it comes to road courses.
Okay.
You have to slow down to go faster.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah.
Okay. When it's not your speed going into a curve, it's your speed coming out of a curve. You're too fast going into the curve, you can't have the extra speed coming out.
Coming out of it. Yep.
If you slow down going into the curve, you can put your foot on the gas sooner, giving you more speed coming out.
Sure.
A fast car is going to go too fast through that and slide away. A speed car is going to have slow down coming into that corner and make all that speed coming out of that corner and make his passes because of it. He's got that speed going into the straightaway that the other car doesn't have. Right? And I think Don agrees with me here, says, I think of Vegas as a speed team. Nashville used to be a speed team. Vegas is a good representation of what the Blues should be, in my mind. Right? A heavy-hitting team with speed. That is how they beat Colorado. It had nothing. I think my wife just came home. Yeah, something just happened. Hold on, I'll be right back.
Okay.
You take the show for a few minutes.
So yeah, again, where I was coming from really was the fact that, again, all over social media, a lot of people are celebrating the Blues and very excited about the Blues, and we should be. But there are some people who are kind of saying, hey, get over it, and it's been 2 years, and why are you kind of still hanging on to that? And I kind of felt like maybe there's a little bit of legitimacy, and I put on my Twitter, I actually, even me and Lance kind of got into it. Which we often do, and Lance is a great guy. The Drop Hockey Podcast. Love you, Lance, if you're out there. But number two is that we were talking about that it is just typical St. Louis that it doesn't matter if it was 5 years ago, 10 years ago, or 15 years ago. There seems to be a superiority complex. In other words, that our fan base is a better group of fans than other fans because we won the Stanley Cup. And it's just kind of stupid and ridiculous. And I really hate seeing that. I think it cheapens the whole thing for all of us. And I think, the whole saying is, in football, act like you've been there before, when it comes to touchdowns, instead of doing all these crazy sellies, act like you've been there, act like you've done this before, act like you know what you're doing. So I think there's a lot to be said for that. Again, the Blues, I think the fact that we're celebrating this today kind of hides the fact that they had a very mediocre season, and a lot of people aren't keen into that. And it's all about the Stanley Cup, and it's 2 years ago, and the parade, and Brett Holt being drunk and making a spectacle of himself, and Zach Sanford, throw it up on the parade route. Like, people really got off on that. They thought that was like a really cool thing. To me, I thought it really brought out the whole ugly side of Blues fans. But again, I'm not a do-gooder. I have my own problems, and for sure, I'm not the judge and jury on that. But again, people were they treated that as like such a sacred moment that, again, it was our first one, appreciated it. It was on the edge of my seat. I was the biggest fan. I was, up and down the entire series. But the fact that we're still celebrating this 2 years ago to me says we're not paying attention to what just happened last year. And last year was a joke. It was a travesty. We can talk about the injuries and we can talk about who got hurt, but Guy and I talk about a lot. Who was up in the press box? Didn't even give us a chance to win the games. Because you put what I felt like were maybe subpar lineups. So, Guy, the point I was trying to make is that I feel like the Stanley Cup from 2 years ago really hides 2 years of very mediocre hockey. And we were kind of talking about that before, but even this past year, today is a 2-year celebration. Everybody's happy. They're talking about the parade and Brett Holt being drunk and, and I said, Zach Sanford, vomiting on the parade route. And to me, I thought like that really brought out a whole negative side of hockey. And to me, I thought it was sad that we're still celebrating this 2 years. I mean, it's like, move on, man. You think the Washington Capitals, are they celebrating the 3rd year anniversary of their first Stanley Cup? I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple different things going on there, to be honest with you. One of them is, first of all, because this. Now I'll tell you what. I'll tell you when the Toronto Maple Leafs finally win their cup, they're going to celebrate the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 year anniversary of them winning a cup. Okay, and it has to do with the 51 years of waiting.
Yeah,
that's what it's all got to do with. So I get
and they're
that.
also original six. They're an original six. So
right.
They've earned that right.
Say again?
They're an original six. So I feel like they've earned that right.
Yeah, they're an original six. They won it the year before we came into the league.
Okay.
Right.
67,
So they won it the year before expansion. So they haven't won in 55 years now.
Okay.
54 years. So it's 50 because you got a season that we missed. But there's a lot of things to look at differently. This is where we're acting like our win is somehow more important than anyone else's. Okay, that's not a bad point. That's not a bad point. That's kind of what I was saying. Yeah, that's kind of where you were at. No, and I see some things like that. I do. To
me, it just speaks to how desperate
the
fan base. To me, it speaks to how desperate the fan base is for a winner. It's like, oh my God, we got a winner.
No. They're not desperate for a winner. They're not desperate for a winner. Because that's obvious. Because if they're desperate for a winner, they'd be questioning coaching decisions and GM decisions. Not. Right? They're desperate. They were desperate for a cup. And too many of them have this thought in their mind, one was enough.
See,
right?
One was enough. I don't think Ryan O'Reilly feels that way.
No, I'm saying fan base.
Okay, all right.
Okay. I'm saying fan base. Too many in the fan base, one is enough. And they're putting so much weight on that. I cannot remember the coach's name. The coach from Pittsburgh in 16.
Sullivan or?
I think it was the one before Sullivan.
Yeah, it was.
Okay.
Peter Laviolette?
Yeah, it might have been Laviolette.
Yeah.
He won the cup in 16, right? They beat the Sharks. They get into 17 by December. They're not in a good spot. He just won the cup. Won the cup. And you know what they did? Fired him.
Yep.
Fired him. Right? Fired him. And with that being said, the cup doesn't have this ultimatum of, you can do whatever you want for the next 3 years. No, it doesn't. Right? This season, a disappointment.
Well, and if you know what, I'm going to stop you there because you said this cup doesn't have this magic. I guarantee, I think Scotty Bowman has a freaking pass for life because he won whatever Stanley Cups.
Okay, he won multiple Stanley Cups.
But I'm saying
he won back-to-back Stanley Cups.
Perfect, great. So
Coach Q won 3 cups in 5 years. What happened to Coach Q in Chicago?
So he got let go. I mean, again, he
didn't get let go. He got fired mid-season.
Well,
when it was
fired, I mean,
nothing his fault. Mm-hmm. Now Bowman retired. Bowman retired after his last cup. Right? Bowman retired. There's a difference. I'm saying that this one cup, this one period in Coach Berube's career does not solidify him forever. and it doesn't give him a pass for the last year and a half since the bubble. It doesn't. I'm sorry. The things that happened in the bubble, there was a disconnect and a non-buy-in there. If the teams didn't buy in, whose job is that? Whose responsibility is it to get a team to buy in? Right? I would say it's the coach's responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
Well, okay, there's failure point number one. Right? You go 2-1 or 4-1 no, let me get this right. 2-6-1 in the playoffs. It was 15 games in. 15 games in that they fired him.
Agreed.
15 games after winning the Stanley Cup. Fired him. 15 games. Okay, and that's just, and you know what? A lot of teams have a Stanley Cup hangover, right? I mean, a lot of teams have it.
Sure.
Tampa had it this year a little bit, right? The Blues had it. They had they lost 4 games of the first 6.
So why?
Or 7.
Why did the Blues stop playing for Ken Hitchcock? Was it a hangover, or they just got sick of him? They thought he was a dick.
Hitchcock's message wore thin.
Yeah, they thought he was a
right?
dick. Exactly.
Hitchcock. Here's the issue with Hitchcock, right? Issue with Hitchcock, absolutely, positively, was 16, right? Okay, calling me in the wrong way. Hey, Josh, can you hear us? Josh, you got to call me back. I don't have you hooked up. Stand by. Stand by. I don't have him hooked up. I can this up while we're talking. What I was trying to get at was, I kind of lost my place here. What was I saying, Brock?
Well, I mean, we're just having a larger discussion about,
Hitchcock.
What's that?
Hitchcock. I was talking about
Hitchcock and just different coaches.
Hitchcock was 16. Hitchcock was 16. In 16, right? The way that went down with switching the goalies in 17 or in the Western Conference Finals and not having any, not scoring in the first 2 games, calling players out. The way Game 5 went down, Game 5 was really bad. There was a lot going on. Hey, Sports Freak, that link I sent you, if you click on that link, the one above the audio call, that should put you to us. That's going to be the best way to do it. Robert says, you can lead a horse to water, can't make him drink. I'm sorry you won't change my mind that the players on the Blues continue get coaches fired. Yes and no. Yes and no. I see that, but at some point, okay, got Yo fired. Did the players get Yo fired? I don't think so. I think Yo got Yo fired. Yo got Yo fired, plain and simple, right? When he came in, you look at the team he had in 17, he had a team with almost 0 changes that had just gone to the Western Conference Finals that gets beat handedly in the second round in 6 games against Nashville, right? Then the next season, this is the playoffs by 1 point, and I can come up with so many games that were lost in the last second. So many games
You're right. Okay.
that season that were lost in the last second. Okay? Missing those playoffs was huge. And then you come around and you start the next season. You start the next season after just missing the playoffs with a 5-1 thrashing by Winnipeg. Yeah, that team was going nowhere. The players didn't do that. Coaching did that. There was issues in that locker room that the coach didn't address, coach didn't fix. That link, oh no, wrong link. Hold on a second. No, okay. I know what I did wrong. Hold on. I'll be right with, I'll get you the right link here in a second. I had done something wrong. My bad. I'll get you the right link here in a second, buddy. That was on me there. Here you go. Now you got the right link. Now try that. And we got time we can talk about this. But so that's where I'm looking at here.
Okay.
Yo got Yo fired, right?
Mhm.
And when Berube came in, this team didn't magically turn around. Okay? He came in December. This team didn't really turn around. If you want to look at when it really turned around, it was February. Okay? They won the first game of that 11-game winning streak just before the All-Star game.
Okay.
Okay, that was game one of it, but it was February. It was the game against Florida that they came back and won, and then, and I'm gonna shoot him. I'm gonna absolutely shoot him, right? Yeah, I see
Wrong
that. But then I see you, Josh. Just give me a few minutes, okay? Give me a few seconds. Then I lost my. Oh, okay, no. Then they go and have that amazing 1-0 overtime shutout against Tampa Bay. To me, that's the game right there that proved to everybody that this team was as good as they thought they were.
Yeah, I'd say right about there.
Of all the losses, they only had 14 losses, right, that year. And I don't know how many overtime losses. 2 of them were from us. We're the only team that swept them.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's where we're at there. Hey, Brad, is it your birthday or who else's birthday? Hey, Josh, can you see us, bud?
Oh, I'm here, buddy.
Yeah, well, you kind of went dark on us. There you go. Okay, now we can see you. So I want to bring you in now. Before I do that, hey everybody, you're watching. This is Guy, the Hawaii Blues fan. You're watching the Blue Note Fan Report on YouTube and Twitter. My name is Guy. I'm joined by Mr. Brock Banner from the St. Louis Fan Report and Josh. Josh, who is a good fan of mine, also goes by Rooster. He's been a supporter. He brought up something today we're going to talk about. We're brought to you today by Forrest Crump Enterprises, Mike Zook Enterprises, and War Stories Coffee. Check out stlfanreport.com for more information, great stories, and the easiest way to find the Blue Note Fan Report. Today, before we were coming on the show, Josh brought up the point that I keep saying that we should have been a speed team, and he thinks that we didn't have any speed to be a speed team. Well, I don't know if you've seen it earlier, Josh, but I made the statement, there's a difference between being fast and having speed. And Brad, happy birthday tomorrow. Unfortunately, I won't be on. Maybe I'll be singing some happy birthday later.
Oh, don't.
Before we do this, I have a question. Do you think it was huge bringing Bennington in? Bennington was not a coach decision. I don't think that was a coach's decision. I think at the time, if you remember, they had released. Well, hold on. Let me rephrase this. It's 2 different things here. They released the original guy, and then Bennington was the backup. And then after the Islanders lost, which I was at that game, which was really bad because we were up 2-0 and lost like 4-2. We just couldn't do anything. Then they brought Bennington in for the Philadelphia game. That is where I see that was a coach decision, and maybe that was a bearing, but that was one game. There, you saw a lot in that one game, but it was one game. Then there were other things. Don't forget, Jake Allen won almost as many games in that 11-game. I think he won 5 games. Either won 4 or 5 games in that.
Yeah, he did.
Right? It wasn't Bennington getting 11 straight. They were moving some stuff over, right? So there were other things going. So I'll answer that. Yep, he's got his Bud Light going. Okay, so Josh, what you said, the only speed that we had on our team. I'll let you start it. I'll let you start it, and then we'll go from there, and I'll defend my position.
So we talk about speed. You got half your team out. If you're Chief, you gotta still go for speed. Know that. What you got? Kyrou, Hoffman. That's about it, right?
No,
Yeah.
it's not.
In terms of raw speed,
Okay.
is O'Reilly, some of the other guys, maybe they're above average in terms of speed.
Okay, I'll agree with you there, but let's stop and think about this for a second. There is a difference between having speed and being fast. We're not a fast team, but we can be a
No.
speed team.
Well,
Go ahead, Brock.
well,
You can't.
okay, but I mean, because I was talking with Josh about this too. It's like I tend to agree. It's like, okay, outside of Kyrou, and again, he's about the only guy that has like blazing speed, like McKinnon type of speed. Hoffman, I don't see it. I'm not seeing the speed. You know, I'm not to that level, not to that elite level. So that tells me there's one guy. So again, Tarasenko, the name just came up. Used to be a speed guy, disappeared. You know,
Sneaky speed. Yeah, he dealt with the injury, but that was coming back.
Yeah.
Game four, you saw his speed.
But you mentioned like
Game 4.
Mikkola. I don't think Mikkola's really a speed guy, though. Like,
Yeah,
I
he
don't know.
was. Mikkola had speed.
Come
Mikkola
on.
had speed.
Guy,
I think he had speed, but I don't
had
think he was a speed
some
guy.
speed, but he's not a speed guy.
Okay. So
We're talking speed guys. We're talking Kyrie. We're talking Hoffman. Those are speed guys.
But I was trying to think who else. Like, give me some names. Like
O'Reilly.
okay, well,
Walker?
stop. Let's hold on. Let's think about this in the way, if you were a coach, there's two ways to get the puck into the offensive zone. Really. Breakout rush
Okay.
or the flying V. And what I mean by that, you go in as a group. Right? We never tried to go in on a rush. Rarely did we go in a rush. We almost always went in straight up, everybody together. Every time that there was a puck that was going from our blue line to their blue line, our guy was standing in our blue line. He was at a dead standstill. And basically had to wait until everybody else was ready to go in. By that time, the defense has got you jammed. Right? If you're using speed the right way, your guys are circling back, and when that pass is coming, he's getting that pass already he's getting it as he's going on the fly, right? He's taking that pass in with speed. He's taking that pass all the way back behind the net because he's ahead of everybody, and he's got guys coming in on him so he can get a pass in, or he's actually he's got a straight breakaway. He's one-on-one to the net, right? He's going behind if he's got a guy that's even with him. He's going to the net if everybody's behind him. We didn't do that. Colorado did that every single time they came in. They almost never came in on a flying V. Never came in. They came in on a rush every single time. They used their players effectively. To tell me that we didn't have the players to do that, I disagree. We have plenty of players to do that. Hoffman could have done that. O'Reilly could have done that. Sundqvist could have done it until he got injured. Thomas could have done that. Mikkola could have done that. Parayko is your passing guy. Parayko could have set up much better passes than he did. We never used, the only time we had breakouts was if we got a turnover in the neutral zone.
I'm sorry, but the guys you're listing are not made for speed. They're
Perron's
not.
quick. There we go. Mason's going to back me up. Perron's pretty quick, right? But you got to think about this. There's a difference between fast and speed. There's a difference between fast and speed.
So is Nathan McKinnon fast or speed?
Nathan McKinnon is fast, right? He is fast. He's going to take off. You're not going to outskate him. He's like Connor McDavid. McDavid's fast.
But you're saying fast and speedy are two different things, and they're kind of the same.
No, they're not.
Well,
Remember the
difference, 'cause I'm not getting-
remember the NASCAR analogy I threw out there?
about the turns and the curves.
Yeah.
And
Right? You slow down to go fast. You slow down to go faster.
The guys you're mentioning, they are not speedy players, though.
If you're getting the puck if you're getting the puck on the rush, on the fly, on your tape, you're going to beat the guy behind you by 1 or 2 steps. Easily. Doesn't matter unless you're the slowest skater in the world. And if you say O'Reilly doesn't have speed, let me remind you that O'Reilly. Hold up. Oh, I guess I'm being loud again. O'Reilly.
No, you're fine.
Oh, I'm getting in the chat room. I'm getting told I'm screaming.
You're fine. Go ahead.
I'm getting told in the chat room I'm screaming. O'Reilly.
No, fuck the chat room.
Well, I don't do that, man. We know us better than that, Josh.
I know. I'm sorry.
O'Reilly made a beautiful poke check just before the blue line. Got 2 steps ahead of everybody, beat everybody down, and made a great shorthanded goal. You don't do that unless you're quick, unless you got speed. There's fast, and then there's speed.
He's quick. Is O'Reilly a skill guy or is he a speed demon?
He's more of a skill guy than he's got speed that he knows how to use when he needs to use it.
He can't.
What I'm trying to say, Josh, and I think you're getting caught up in semantics, right? A speed team rushes in to the offensive zone. A speed team doesn't go for the forecheck. They don't throw the puck in and try and out-muscle everybody to get to the puck. They bring the puck in by themselves. They get ahead of everybody. They get into the corner. They get behind the net, and they get a pass. They center a pass to somebody at the point that's open for a shot with somebody else somebody there for the rebound. We didn't do that all season long.
Okay.
We rarely had anybody at the center of the ice. We almost always dumped the puck and tried to get in on the forecheck. And where that's going to fail you is a team like Colorado that is fast, that can get their guys down there and get the puck out before you can get down there. Now, you get into that zone, you take that puck into the zone on your own and make passes and keep them, they knew what we were going to do every single time. Every single time we went into the zone, they weren't worried about the guy coming into the zone. They were skating backwards because they knew where the puck was going. Almost every single time they were waiting for it and they were skating because they knew they had the speed to get there first. Every single time. We did not change our system. We did not change our thought process with that team one time. We kept trying to outmuscle them every single time. And you know what? It didn't work.
Guy, can I make a point to you, buddy?
Yeah, fire away.
All right. Was Chief handed a heavy style team or was he handed a speed team?
He was handed a heavier style team. I will admit that.
Okay. When you have half the team on the injured reserve, do you switch to the more speedy type of play or do you try to ride your heavier style play? When half your team's out.
You take the assets you have and you use them in the best in a way that's going to make them successful.
What's the majority tell you? What's the majority of the team tell you though? They're a heavier style team.
No, we weren't.
Oh my goodness, guy. Yes, we were, bro.
Not this season. I'm sorry. We had too much weight
I gotta disagree with you, buddy.
Okay.
We were a heavier style team. That's what Chief got dealt.
Okay.
That's what he got dealt.
When did he get? Hold on. When did he get dealt that?
Guns. He stuck with his guns because he had to do it.
No, he didn't.
The team was out, bro.
No, we didn't.
You have to.
No, you don't. Because it wasn't working.
You got Hoffman. Those are your speed guys. The rest of the guys are skilled or heavier set. You got maybe 2 or 3 guys that can provide you a speedy type of play, which would be Kyrou, Hoffman, and maybe one other guy. You're saying I'm wrong?
Yes.
Oh, my
I agree
goodness.
with the players we
Oh, my
had.
goodness.
Wait a minute. Even Robert Morton, I agree with the players we had. It turned into a faster style of play. Yes. Here's what you're missing. What was our record? It didn't work. We should have been fighting this
It
team.
didn't work because we were injured riddled the whole entire time, bro. That's why it didn't work.
That's an excuse.
Speed out.
That's an excuse.
Speed
That's
out.
an excuse. That's an excuse.
You got Tarasenko, you got Kyrou, and what? Maybe O'Reilly that might be able to produce a speed team. The rest of the guys are all used to a heavy base team. You take half the team out due to injury. You take half the team out due to injury. What are you going to do? You're going to switch it? Or are you going to ride what you got? Are you going to ride what you got?
No. What's the definition of insanity?
Oh, my goodness. Come on, guys.
What's the definition of insanity?
Oh,
What's
my
the definition
goodness.
of insanity?
Oh, my goodness.
Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. If it's not working, you switch, you change. Why was Mikkola?
You can't change. You can't change. What are you going to change? Half your team's out.
What?
What's today?
You got half the team on injured reserve. What are you going to change?
You had Mikkola in the press box. You had Mikkola in the press box.
You got Kyrou and Hoffman to change to your speed team. Two guys.
More than
the
that.
rest of them are hard hitting bad mother effers instead of the other word.
But they didn't work. It didn't work.
How's it going to work? How's it going to work, guy?
Okay, tell me this.
How are you going to make that work?
Are you going to make that work? You don't dump the puck in. You bring it into the zone and you set it up that way. You don't do a dump and chase when the other team can get to the puck quicker than you and get it out. Okay? What you're missing is we had players that were better than the players on the ice in the press box.
Okay.
Mikkola was better than Wallman. Walker was better than Sanford. In fact, anybody was better than Sanford.
First of all, Bud Light, subscribe to Guy's channel. Subscribe.
Yeah.
Thank you, man.
Comment, subscribe. Guy's one of the better hockey analysis out there. Love Guy's show. Comment, subscribe.
And
Let's
can I say
get
something
that
real
out of the
quick?
way.
I want to say that I appreciate you, Roos, because you back up what you say and you don't come in swinging. You just come in and you talk. So I appreciate you being respectful. We don't always agree, but we do respectfully, man. So I appreciate you doing that.
Absolutely.
I just think that I get what you're saying, Josh. I really do. I understand where you're coming from. However, I look at this when we got into April, and April was well, first of all, March. We should have taken March and blown March away. We should have been so ahead in March, it wasn't even funny. Played the Ducks, the Kings, the Sharks.
You got a point there.
We played all these
on front, playing those weaker teams.
Okay.
That's beyond me.
Let's go. So this is where I'm looking at. Now, went into April, and we started getting guys back. We got Thomas back, got Barbashev back, and Barbashev's got speed, right? We started getting guys back. We had guys that could play the style that we needed to play. Mm-hmm. The heavy hitting style was not working. You know, the only team that heavy hitting style worked against? It worked against one team all season. Of the 7 teams we played, it worked against one.
Okay.
But your style of play, Guy.
Stop. No, hold on. You got to understand this. What is the head coach's job? The head coach's job is to put the players in the best position to be successful. Right. If you have guys on the bench, they're better than the guys you have on the ice, it is your job to switch them out. When you keep riding the same pony over and over again and watching him make the same mistakes over and over again, that's on you. That's on you. I'm gonna ride that. The sticking with this heavy hitting style of dump and chase and forecheck. When it only worked against one team, every other team knew what we were going to do and kept their defense back because they let us into the zone because they knew we were just going to dump the puck into the zone. They got back there before we did and threw the puck out. We never got a sustained rush because of that.
Now,
And the way that, you beat that, and the way that you beat that,
shoes. Put yourself in coach's shoes.
yes. Okay. I would have. Oh, I'd have made so many changes. I'd have made changes left, right, and center.
This is the style of play in 2019 that worked.
Again.
And you want them to go totally against. And I understand. We had injuries. What was worth was not working. But if you're Chief, what do? You go with the speed?
Yes.
Or do you go with the heavy hit?
You go with the speed. You take what's not working and you change it up.
We don't have that many guys for speed, buddy.
You take what's not working. T, I turn my volume down a little bit. Maybe that'll help because I don't feel like I'm screaming. So maybe it's just coming across
loud. No, you're not
loud.
Screaming. We're just having a conversation.
Yeah. Oh, no.
It's not screaming. We're having a conversation. It's not screaming.
It's getting heated, but I get that. So
it's not getting heated, guy.
The thing that you're missing, Josh, so heavily is I got to ask you something. Are you happy with just the one cup?
No.
No, you want another one, right?
I want a second
another
cup.
one, right?
You want a second cup. We all want second cups, right?
Okay. Well, let me ask this.
But instead of going after Chief, how about this? When does the strength and conditioning coach come into it? How many guys were we missing?
Oh, actually, so now you know what? You just really brought up a good point.
Mm-hmm.
Our strength and conditioning coach, our strength and conditioning coach left this year. Left this year, right? He went to another job. So we got a new strength and conditioning coach. Now, I don't know how much to put on that. I honestly don't. That's a good point. However, who does the strength and conditioning coach work for?
The coach?
The Blues. The Blues, not Chief. The Blues. It's not Chief.
Who hires him?
The Blues.
The ownership group.
The owner, the Blues.
No. Chief hires him. He's responsible for his assistants.
No way. Chief takes what he gets. Chief takes what he gets.
You know what? I'm gonna.
Chief's got half a Blues team to work with, and you want to switch around the whole entire style of the Blues based on a couple guys on the Blues team who can skate fast. It's not gonna work. Period.
Right. So Robert says this. Says we're on the tail end of that run in the league where big teams were winning. The evolution is to fast teams. Don't disrespect PLO. I think. I'm not sure where that. And yes, Brad, Torrey Krug is coming back. We got him for 7 more years. He's going to be here a while.
Krug's contract
but we should want 5 or 10, not just one.
So any of you Krug haters out there, you better get used to it because he ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, he's not going anywhere. All I'm saying, Josh, is it is the coaches. It is. Let me put it to you this way. I was on a ship.
You're breaking up bad.
I was on a ship where the morale of the ship had dumped to 0. I mean, this is peacetime now, and there were guys going unauthorized, not showing up to work every day. Every day.
You're breaking up pretty bad, guy.
Am I? Brock, am I breaking up?
It's really scratchy.
Yeah, sometimes the connection gets a little rough. And, we're coming up on about an hour here, dude.
Yeah, we're over an hour, actually. You know what, guys? This is great. I got to stop this. This is a good conversation. I'm going to check on that, Don. I actually think the coach is part of the hiring. I really do. Worst segment of all time. Oh, my goodness. Sorry, Robert. I didn't mean to do that. So, guys, there are some big changes coming to the Blue Note Fan Report. And I need you guys to just bear with me for a few minutes while I in this. This is going to be the last Blue Note Fan Report until the start of the Stanley Cup.
Really?
Right? We are going to take a little bit of a hiatus. There's something extremely huge coming up on the horizon. I can't announce it yet. There's still some planning that needs to be done. There's still some other stuff. So I'm going to take, I haven't been able to plan this the way I need to plan it to make sure it works. So I'm going to take a little bit of a hiatus. The contest is still going on. Absolutely. Oh no, you're fine, Don. Yeah, everyone has the right to agree here. Everybody has the right to agree here.
Get to that contest, guys.
Yeah.
There is no, even if you lose it, it's still fun. Get into that contest. Guy does a great job. There's some great prizes that you can win. So get into that contest, guys.
We'll be picking every game from now until the Stanley Cup. For the Stanley Cup, I may run a separate contest to go with the overall contest. I'm still looking at that. I will have for tomorrow. I'll have that posted later today. No problem. I'll get that posted up. Other thing, go to stlfanreport.com, Don, and look under contest. We do a pick'em contest. We've been doing it for the playoffs and we do it for Blues games. stlfanreport.com. Go check that out. We are taking a hiatus. And hopefully we're going to come back for I'm going to do the shows free Stanley Cup games. We'll do a free Stanley Cup game show. I'll kind of look at once that schedule comes out, we'll do that. But we're just going to take a little bit of a break so we can set this up. And hopefully as soon as the Stanley Cup is over, about a week after it's over, we can make some big, huge announcements that you guys would love, right? That you guys are going to absolutely love, but I just need the time to set it up, but we're still going to write. We're still going to write. I got 3 articles ready to come out, hopefully within the next day or so. We're going to keep writing. We're going to keep doing the contests. We're going to keep doing gotta go. But this is where I need your help. Please check out stlfanreport.com daily. Look at the different pages. I'm going to try and start getting more of the older interviews on, so you can go back and double check those. And I know there's a lot of interviews you guys haven't seen. You can go back and look at the live shows again, right? I'm going to try and get the live shows kind of broken into segments so you can watch them in segments. Going to work on trying to get the Audacity up. That's going to take a little bit of time. And the other bit of news that happened, I found out today, Sly Fox Sports is taking a hiatus also due to some personal issues. He will be back soon. I know guys are going to be disappointed a little bit. If something happens where I'm free and I can come on and do a show, I will, impromptu. And the other thing is this Facebook thing. I got to let this Facebook thing settle down so we can get back to what normal is. And I can't do that.
God's going to take a little bit, and he's going to reevaluate his comments on the Blues manager, and then he'll get back to you guys.
Who? Me?
You.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think that's changing. Trust me, with the article I got coming out, you want to see somebody get flame sprayed? I'm going to get flame sprayed perfectly. But I'm going to back up everything I say.
Don't put yourself in that position to get flame sprayed, dude.
I'm going to back up everything I say. That's all I got to say. And I've done that in every article I've put out. I've backed up what I say. Rock, you read them all. You've read them all.
Yeah.
Have I not backed up my position?
Yeah, I mean, you're right. Yeah, I'm the same. But again, people have different positions, so you have to respect that people don't agree with it.
This is weird, guy. It's weird to me. The Chief has half a team to work with, and you're on his ass.
He had more than half a team to work with.
Oh,
he
my
had a
goodness.
team. He had a
my
team.
goodness.
Had a team with 16 Stanley Cup rings on it.
And he just won us the Stanley Cup, bro.
He had a team. He had 16 Stanley Cups on, and he got swept.
He had a team with the heavy style. He rolled with it.
He had a team with 16 Stanley Cup rings, and there were only 2 teams that he had a winning record against.
And he had a roll
Maybe
with
3.
half
It might
a
have been
team.
3.
He had a roll with half a team, and more than half the team.
No, he did not.
Was a heavy hitting team.
He did not lose more than half the team. He lost 5 players. 5 players. There's 23 on a team.
Really important ones.
It doesn't matter. Have to have the next man up. You have to have a next man up. Have to have a next man up mentality. Oh, there we go. Thanks, Don. Hey, Don, check out my article. Check out our articles, man. I think you really like them. Well, guys, this is I got to go. It's an hour and 10 in. Please know that we're coming back.
Honor.
Please know that we're coming back. We need to take this break. Me and Brock really need to set some things up so we can make the fan report much, much better. Josh, thanks for coming on. I appreciate all your comments. I'm happy.
Check out the fan report. Guys, one of the best out there. I promise you that.
I appreciate your comments. I appreciate you coming on and stating your point. I love it. I love it. I love it. Right?
Thanks for having me.
Everybody have a great, wonderful evening. This is Guy, the Hawaii Blues fan, saying aloha, mahalo, and I'll see you soon. The Blue Note Fan Report.